Hey folks, Foggy here. Welcome to day 196 of my year of solo board gaming is considered by many to be ill-advised and stupid. We are playing Arkham Horror, the card game. We're going to be doing this for a few days. I think we're at least going to do the opening campaign, which is three scenarios. Once we do that, we may move on to another scenario. I may move on to something else. Sort of balance it that way. We're playing with the easiest setting and with the starter decks suggested to us by the game. And in Arkham Horror, the card game, much as with all the other Arkham Horror games, you are attempting to investigate some shenanigans. And in this case, the scenario that we are doing, where is the handy dandy little guide? Oh, that's right. Hold on. Hold on. Hold your horses. I know what. Ah, yeah, here we go. Night of the Zealot. All right. The Ghoul's Hunger. Friday, September 18th, 1925. Arkham, Massachusetts. It is the end of a long and abnormally hot summer. The first hints of autumn beckon, but a heavy heat persists, relentless. A silent, unspoken anger grips the town. Tempers are short, and in the last week alone, there have been numerous reports of townspeople coming to heated, violent blows with one another over simple misunderstandings. And now a call from James Hankerson. He claims to have found a dismembered body in his barn. Blaming the weather would be too easy. There is something wrong with this town, and not a whole lot this old soothsayer can do to stop the slide. My auguries indicate a small group of investigators will soon take note of these strange happenings and set forth to make things right. I'll be watching their progress, but I won't be holding my breath. All right, and basically this is a game for 1 to 4 players. If you are playing 4 players, you do need 2 copies of this. There is a new version, I think, of this out, or new expansions to this. We don't have any of that. This is just the original game that came as is. We are playing easy mode, and what easy mode means is that over the course of the game, you'll be drawing these little tokens. And these tokens all, oops, that's coming down here, basically help determine the outcome of the skill check that you're going to do. And we're just going to make sure that this is the correct distribution of cards, because I think I'm seeing already that it's not. Essentially what you're doing is you'll always have these two. This is a failure, success, and failure. Like, these are just automatic success, automatic failure, no ifs, ands, or buts. There are also some pluses here. So, for example, we have a +1 here. I think I'm actually glad I did this. I think I'm not actually playing on easy mode. Nope, I am. Okay, 2 +1s. 3 zeros. The numbers are just simply added to whatever your skill check you're doing. So, for example, if you have 1 more than you need, and you get any of these ones right here, you'll still succeed. But if you get a -2, you'll fail by 1. Then we've got 2 death tokens, and I think I need one of these weird tombstone ones and one of these cultist ones. And then everything else can go back in here. So this is the distribution for easy mode. I'm using a pouch from Rory's Story Cubes. I do have the story cubes elsewhere. They are in my shed. There's an app that allows you to set up a bag and basically adjust it however you need to. But as I understand it, that is suspect. Just in terms of, not suspect in like malware or anything like that. Just suspect in terms of like, is it really doing a good job with the odds? A little shake there. You have, in this game, you have an agenda deck and an act deck. And generally speaking, you want the act deck to advance, and you want the agenda deck to not advance. The act deck will advance when you've spent a certain number of clues. That's these lovely little things. In this case, 2 per player. Since we have 2 players, we need to get 4 clues on here, and then we can advance to the next act. There's text on the back that we'll read, but for now, we're just going to have the first act be this. Trapped. As you leap to investigate, the door to your study vanishes before your eyes, leaving behind only solid wall. You're trapped inside your study until you can find another way out. And then there's an agenda. Now, the agenda is the monsters, basically what they're up to, like their little, Google Calendar thing going on. And generally, you do not want the agenda thing to advance. This case, this has a 3 on it, and once there are 3 Doom tokens on it, you will advance to the next one. And in this case, Agenda 1A. It is late in the night. You're holed up in your study, researching the bloody disappearances that have been taking place in the region. A few hours into your research, you hear the sound of a strange chanting coming from your parlor down the hall. At the same time, you hear dirt churning, as if something were digging beneath the floor. Now, I probably should have read this in this order, because when you put the 2 pages together, you get a book. Oh, look at that, look at that. It's a cute little book. Cute little book there. Right in the center. Gathering, easy standard, and basically those little icons that you saw earlier. These skulls will indicate negative X, where X is the number of ghoul enemies at your location. Cult is -1. If you fail, take 1 horror. And -2 is if there is a ghoul enemy at your location, take 1 damage. So this is actually pretty mild for an intro adventure. There is a hard side where things are much more difficult. The clue and doom tokens are backwards, like they're 2-sided, so you got that. You have your typical brain and heart tokens for health, and you also have these little boxes which are resources. They are also very similar to the resources in Fantastic Factories, but I digress. You always start off with 5 resources, or at least you do in this adventure. You also start off with 5 cards. Each character is using a custom deck made up of certain things. So, for example, Roland Banks has a deck that is made up of, and you can see this on the back, 30 cards. You can take Guardian cards, Seeker cards, and Neutral cards, and they give you certain levels that you can do. And then you have to have certain things in there. You have to have at least 1 basic weakness. This is a card that when it comes out basically is just a negative. You have to have your 38 special and Cover Up, which is a specific form of weakness to Roland Banks. Every character has their own special asset and own special adventure weakness. He starts off with 5 brain, 9 heart. And what we could do is we could grab the hearts first to set it up, and it's a little bit easier just to add them as we go along. We also start off with 5 cards. In this case, what I have available to me is Beat Comp, which is going to give me +1 fight. As an immediate action, I can discard Beat Comp and deal 1 damage to an enemy at my location. Magnifying Glass is fast. You get +1 book while investigating. So this will actually be helpful in the beginning here, and I'll explain why in a moment. Guard Dog, which is basically a way to attack. An item, choose an investigator at your location and test that. If you succeed, heal 1 damage. If you fail, deal 1 damage. Basically, this is an anatomy textbook you brought along to help heal. And then Flashlight uses, and then if you can spend something from here, that'll allow you to investigate. Generally speaking, if you see anything in bold, for example, investigate here, that is going to be something that is an action that you can take. For my other character, it's Wendy Adams, the Urchin. She is basically a combination of Survivor and Rogue cards, so a different set of cards from Roland Banks altogether. She also has 30 cards. She has a special amulet, but her special weakness is Abandon Alone. I'm not going to go into reading a lot of that. All characters tend to have a there's a weird circle here, and I forget what that means, like a loop arrow, but I think it's like when something happens. And then a star effect. So essentially, if you pull out a star, that will tell you what's going to happen. So for example, when Roland Banks gets a star as the result, that'll be +1 for each clue at the location. So right now there are 4 clues, so he'd get +4. The goal of this is to find clues and to put them on this little act card so you can advance the act. There is each location has a shroud value, and you'll see that over here for 2. As well as a player count, and that basically means put 2 clues per player on this card when it's revealed. The shroud here indicates that it's a mystery of 2, and when we investigate, we'll have to compare our numbers against 2 to see if we can do something about it. When you are looking, when you're doing any sort of skill checks, you have 4 different characteristics. You have body, book, fist, and shoe. And basically, they are just simply what you might expect, like sanity, knowledge, fighting, and running. And not surprisingly, Roland Banks has really high fighting. Wendy has really high knowledge or street smarts, and evasion, or shoes, or whatever you want to call that, running. Uh, but we're going to go ahead and get started here. The way that each turn is structured is that you start off with the Mythos Phase. You then go into an investigation phase, then enemy phase, and upkeep phase. Now, right now we have no enemies, so we don't have to worry about that. And during the first turn, you do not do the Mythos Phase, but on subsequent turns for the Mythos Phase, you'll flip over this card and bad things will happen. Let's see what I can do on my first turn, and I'm just going to pull this out so I have a full list of items that I can do here, because repeat after me, it's been a while since I played this game. Alright. Alright, so you can start off by playing an asset and event cards. Now, cards are divvied up into assets, events, and skills. And basically, these are things that you can then put in front of you. As an example, I can play Flashlight in front of me. Now, this is going to be uses 3 supplies. And what that means is that I'll take 3 of these little supplies and I'll put them on this card. As an action now, I can, as my second action, I can then trigger this, spend 1 supply, investigate, your location gets -2 shroud for this investigation. Now that means that I'm testing against 0, and for investigation, I always compare it to my book value. So right now I've got a 3, and then I'm comparing against 0. So really, unless I just pull something really bad, I think as long as I don't pull the automatic fail, I should be okay. So our little token is the 0. All right, so that's going to go back in, and I have succeeded. So I'm going to gain 1 clue at this location. And so that is going to go to me, and I'll just keep that here. And I can choose to spend them. Obviously, there's nothing else to spend them on this turn. And I might as well just search again with the Flashlight. That'll go back into this resources. Basically, this turn, Roland has turned on his Flashlight and is looking around. And it's a -2, but fortunately, because I used the Flashlight, I am comparing a 3 to a 0, and even with this -2, I still managed to find the clue. Some of the numbers go up as high as -8. Obviously, that is pretty bad. So that's a clue there. All right. And I think I also have to draw a card at some point. No, drawing an action is just simply part of... Okay. So that is it for my turn. I don't draw anymore, because drawing a card is an action. I have resources that I can then gain as well as an action, but I obviously did not do that. My actions were play this card in front of me so it becomes my asset, and then use it twice. So, and not too bad. We've got 2 clues already, and now we just need to get those other 2 clues. Wendy's going to go, taking a look at what she's got. She does have... Look what I found, which is an event. Play after you fail a skill test by 2 or less while investigating. So we actually kind of want to fail. She's got book smarts of 3, and I think that's all she's going to do is just simply investigate. She's got 3. She needs to beat a 2. And she pulled out a +1, so she actually succeeded with flying colors, so she's going to get a clue. She's going to do that again. She still has to beat a 2. Let me see if there's anything I can do to help deal with that. So, Rabbit's Foot is an item. You can commit cards to skill tests, so if I wanted to, I could commit this Unexpected Courage card, which has 2 question marks over here on the side. That basically gives me 2 additional items. I could commit this card instead of playing it for 2 additional books. That would be helpful. I think what I'm going to do... I'm just going to investigate. I'm not going to play any cards towards it. I'm just going to investigate. Because this might open up the thing for us. It's a +1, so she succeeds again. Did not need any help there. And now we have 4 clues, so we can spend those clues to advance the act. Alright. You notice that the edges of your newly purchased rug are tattered and mud-stained. Finding this odd, you shift the furniture around and pull back the rug. To your surprise, you see the door leading out of your study. You slowly turn the knob and the door swings open, revealing the hallway below. You jump through the doorway, landing on your feet on soft dirt. The door to the study slams shut above you. The smell of burning wood fills the narrow hall, intermingled with the scent of rot and decay. Put into play the set-aside hallway, cellar, attic, and parlor. Discard each enemy in the study, which we don't have to do. Place each investigator in the hallway, and remove the study from the game. So we're going to remove the study. It's served its purpose. We have some cards that we had to set aside before. We have the hallway. And each of these have a revealed side and an unrevealed side. So we are going to set it up as if cellar is over here. Attic is over here. Parlor's down here. And we are now down here. When you complete your actions, by the way, you are supposed to turn this over like this, so it's now dark. And that is now taken care of. So we're going to go ahead and just put that over here. And I'll read Act 2A. A glowing barrier blocks the path to the parlor. As you move towards it, intense heat forces you to back away. Picking up a handful of dirt, you toss it at the barrier and watch in horror as the dirt incinerates. Perhaps there's something in the cellar or attic that can help. When the round ends, investigator in the hallway may, as a group, spend the requisite number of clues to advance. I have to check to see if that was something that I should have done at the end of the round. Because I thought you could just advance as normal. But I think in this case, maybe you had to wait. So as far as I can tell, I did the first thing right. I think in this case, obviously, it's at the end of it that I can advance it at the end of the round. I can't do it mid-round. And we need 6 clues total. We're in the hallway, so we're going to go ahead and reveal this card. A moment of panic and disorientation strikes you as you land upon the floor of the hallway. The world spins as if the world turned upside down. Alright. The walls of your house are splattered with mud, and your hardwood floor is gone, replaced with a dirt path. There is there are no clues at this location, so we cannot do anything. There's no point in investigating this any further. There is a cellar that we can go to. There's a parlor. And I'm just going to check to make sure I was supposed to put the parlor in play as well. I was. And for now, we cannot go into the parlor. So we can either go to the attic or the cellar. For now, her last item, last thing that she's going to do is she's going to ready her Behringer. This is a firearm. Put this here. Put this up here. This is a firearm. Uses 3 ammo. Spend 1 ammo, you get +2 for this attack. If you succeed by 2 or more, this attack deals +1 damage. So this is basically a fun little toy here. We're going to put 3 cubes on top of it. At the end of the turn, you then can draw an additional card for your hand. We're skipping the enemy phase here because there's no point. Cunning Distraction and Dynamite Blast. Well, that's cool. And then you also get an additional resource. So we'll take these resources, hand those out. I'll drop one on the floor and pick it up later. There we go. All right. So now we've completed round 1. Now we go on to round 2, and this time we actually do have a Mythos Phase. And let me just make sure that I get the Mythos Phase right here. Since we skipped it in the first round, because we're supposed to skip it in the first round. All right. Place one Doom token on the current agenda. So we have to take one of these. It'll be a little Doom icon. That means that in 3 turns, this will advance to the next next part of the agenda. In player order, each investigator drops the top card of the encounter deck. Instructions for resolving each type of encounter are presented below. So I'm just going to keep this flipped for a moment, so I can deal with this. First, Roland is going to draw a card, and Roland draws Rotting Remains. Test Brain 3. For each point you fail by, take 1 horror. Alright, well, he's got 3, so if it's 0 or better, he should be okay. I could choose to play this Dynamite Blast, which has a brain on it, and that would allow me to get some extra brain, but I don't think I'm going to. So hopefully we won't get anything too bad. +1, we succeeded. We got another +1. That means that we ended up with 4, and we tested against 3, and so we're good. We succeeded. We don't have to worry about Rotting Remains. And we'll just put the discards for the Mythos deck. Let me make a little bit bigger. A little bit of a bigger space here for this. Alright, so Roland succeeded. He found some Rotting Remains. Didn't phase him. He's seen worse. He's seen worse on the Force. He's seen a lot worse. He's seen things that... He's seen fire, and he's seen rain, and he's seen gunships off the shoulder of Orion. Whatever, however that line goes. I cannot find that little box anywhere. I have a feeling once I move this table to like do some deep cleaning, I'm going to find so many game components in the behind here. Wendy's going to draw a card. She gets Treachery. Revelation. Test 4. Sanity. If you fail, choose and discard 1 asset you control. If you cannot, take 2 damage instead. So this is going to be tough because she does not have any sort of anything really except for the asset. And I don't want her to lose the asset. So we're actually going to use Unexpected Courage. We're going to go ahead and discard this. And that's going to allow us to commit this and add 2 to our sanity. Now, right now our sanity is 4. I just really don't want to fail. So we've now got a sanity of 6. We're competing against 4. It's +1 again. So we're doing pretty well in pulling out that +1 every time. I probably need a bigger bag. I think that's probably the problem, is that this is a very small bag. So I'm not sure how much shaking up I'm actually getting here. So we'll try to do it like that each time. But for now, she manages to notice how cold it is down there, but she's okay. She's good. She's all happy. And we're gonna flip Roland over, and now Roland is gonna go. And Roland decides that there are little location icons down here. You'll see a gray triangle, a red plus, and a green diamond. This is not Lucky Charms cereal. This indicates which locations you can go to. So right now from the hallway, we can actually go to each of the 3 locations. We cannot go to the parlor, though, because it says that the entrance to the parlor is blocked. So we can go to the cellar, we can go to the attic. This is, I believe, one of the 3 actions, one of your 3 actions. Yeah, move to a new connecting location is an action. So one thing I could do is I could play an asset first, because I'm not sure what I'm about to discover. So I think I'm gonna play the Beat Cop. Actually, I'm gonna play the Guard Dog. That'll be my first. And basically, the Guard Dog is an ally. It's a creature. When a dog enemy attacks, dealing damage to a Guard Dog, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. The Guard Dog only has 1 sanity, has 3 health, so will be a little bit helpful. And I think we'll head up to the attic. According to this, the attic, the smell of rotten meat assaults your nostrils as you approach the attic stairs. We open it up. Forced. After you enter the attic, take 1 horror. So we have to take 1 horror. There's not much else we can do. So we'll take 1 horror. We've got 5 to work with. We're doing okay. And then we're going to set up 4 clues on this particular location. Because again, it's 2 per player. There's only a shroud of 1, however, so we're not going to use the flashlight. We're simply going to have our natural investigative ability, which right now is 3, so we need to beat a 1. I should make sure that the skill for skill checks that ties go to the player. Equal to or higher than. Yeah, we succeed. Good. +1. Okay, I really did shake it up that time. I shook it up a lot. But we are successful, so we find a clue. And so now that is our 3 actions. We have done, we've played an asset, we have moved, and we've discovered a clue. And technically I should move my dude over here. He's going to flip that over. And now Wendy could go over here to help out, or she could head over here to the cellar, and I think I'm going to have her head over here to the cellar. All right. Forced. After you enter the cellar, take 1 damage. So she's going to take 1 physical damage. Basically, I sent each of these people to the wrong place because Wendy has more sanity and Roland has more health. There are, once again, going to be clues galore down here. There's going to be a total of this many clues. All right. Now, what she can do is she can investigate. She's got a book sense of 3. And she does have a special thing that allows her to... We're gonna have her investigate. Unfortunately, it's gonna be tough. We're at -1 right now. And what I want to do is fail the skill test by 2 or less. Which means if I get +1, 0, or -1, I should be okay for the most part. There are a couple things that in here that would not be good. I get -2. This is one of the things that would not be good. Because as a result, I'm going to get 1 compared to 4. That means I lose by 3. Which is not where this would have been helpful. I should really play this as an asset too. After you fail a skill test, exhaust Rabbit's Foot, draw 1 card. So that'll be my 3rd action. I've done all 3 actions. I've moved, I've played the Rabbit's Foot, and I investigated a clue. However, because I did that in the wrong order, I don't get to take advantage of that. So now we enter the enemy phase. There are no enemies out. We don't have to worry about that. We're each going to draw a card. I'm going to keep these face up. I'm not sure why I keep putting them face down. We have neither of them have any weaknesses out, so that's good. And then we're each going to gain a resource. And I forget how resources work. I forget like what the point of the resources are. Yeah, I really don't remember. Sorry, I probably should have double-checked this before. There's a whole thing about enemies too, about spawning, praying, all this fun stuff. Resources. Oh, yeah, I should have been taking out, I'm an idiot. I should have been taking resources out when playing the cards, so that is a huge error. I'm sorry, you've probably all been shouting at me. When I played the AI Derringer, 41 Derringer, I should have played 3 resources to pay for that card. In addition, for the Rabbit's Foot, I should have paid 1 resource to pay for that. Over here, I should have paid 5 resources for my flashlight and guard dog. So those are all things that I should have done. So that makes a lot more sense. That does mean that some things I won't have to worry about. For example, Vicious Blow is a skill. That's just simply, you can play and not have to worry about that. but everything else here will require resources. So that is good to remember. Like an idiot. All right. So anyway, we're through round 2. We're now going to place another Doom token on the agenda, and we're going to give Roland a card. Swarm of Rats, Hunter. A horde of cruel rats skitters forth, and in an undulating wave of claw, teeth, and mottled fur. And this has a fight of 1 and a attack of 3, and I forget what the middle one is. I want to say that is their strength or something like that for defense. You'd think it would have been in there. I might have to check my phone here for a moment. It's going a little crazy. Oh, it's health. Okay, so it's got 1 health. And I believe it's basically 2 attacks. You have 2 actions. You have to essentially engage the creature, and then also fight it as a separate action. And I'm just going to check the Mythos Phase here. I always feel like the first time I play a game in a while on camera, it's just, I feel like I should just be. All right, so if it has a spawn creature, oh, it engages with me, so it's actually not at the location. It's put in front of me so that I know, hey, dude, I'm fighting this creature here. Anything else? I'm going to check Hunter, because that is the keyword on it. Hunter has a specific meaning here. Okay, I don't have to worry about that. All right, Wendy's going to draw a ghoul minion, humanoid monster ghoul, and this will engage with Wendy. It's got attack of 2, health of 2, and dodge of 2, and so it is now engaged with her. I think that is right. So I don't think I actually have to do the engagement. I think I was incorrect about that. Yeah, you do not use the engage if you're already. So basically, because they came up in the minion phase, I'm engaged with these 2 already. So now I can just start off and I can just attack. So the first thing I think I'm going to do is attack the swarm of creatures with my attack thing. I've got a 4 right now for my attack, and I don't think I'm going to play anything to help with that. I also don't think I can. I could discard the beat comp and it would have just automatically killed the creatures, but I feel like that is a waste. So we're going to pull this out, and we get +1. So I easily managed to defeat the swarm of rats. We'll just go ahead and put that in the little discard pile over here. I don't think we get anything as a result of that. Oh, actually, sorry. After you defeat an enemy, this is part of Roland's character abilities. Discover 1 clue at your location. So I actually do find another clue. All right. So now I've engaged the enemy once. I'm going to try to find the other 2 clues and then head down to help out Wendy. So we're going to do another test. This is going to be 3. We're investigating 3 versus 1. It's a 0, automatic success. Not automatic success, but it's a success in this case. And then do a little shake. Ruffle around in here. It's a 0. Okay, so he succeeds again. This location now has 0 clues available. Roland can flip over, and on the next turn he can head down to help out with Wendy. Wendy's going to take her Derringer and fight. She's got a fight of 1, which is horrible. However, when she spends 1 ammo off this, she does get to get +2 for the attack. So she's going to have a plus. She's going to have attack of 3. This is going to be difficult, to say the least. Trying to see if there's anything else I can pull up here that would help. I kind of feel like I should have played the baseball bat. Might have been better. All right, but she's going to pull out. She's got 3 right now. She's going up against 2. She gets -1. She ties. It's 2-2. So that means she defeats the ghoul minion. All right. And she has an ability where she can actually discard a card that would help her with getting better results on chaos tokens. Fortunately, we did not need that. I am going to go ahead and spend emergency cash so I can get some resources. Since now that I know I'm supposed to actually have them. And then finally we're going to do a search for clues. It is 0. Her search normally is 3. This is a 4. And as a fast card, she's going to spend 2 resources to play this. Fast, after you fail a skill test by 2 or less while investigating, which we've done. I rolled 3, she got 4. Discover 2 clues at your location. So she has discovered the 2 clues that she needed. And those are her 3 turns. But more importantly, we have now succeeded in getting to the next act. When the round ends, investigators in the hallway may as a group spend the requisite number of clues to the events. So I take that back. I have to be in the hallway to do that. We will unfortunately not be able to do anything. We're in the enemy phase. We're not doing anything in the enemy phase because there are no enemies left. We're each going to get a new card. Where did I put her deck? Her deck should be right here. I'm sorry, I keep doing that. Emergency cash, manual dexterity. So still no weaknesses. That's good. And we're each going to gain a resource. Then we're going to move on to the next Mythos phase. We're going to put 1 more here. And I believe at this point, we now have to activate the next part of the agenda. Place 1 Doom token on the current agenda and then compare it to the Doom threshold. So right now, we're at 3, so we're going to take these off. Assume we take these off. Yeah, I'm just going to double check here. Yeah, discard all Doom tokens from play, turn the current agenda card over following the instructions, and removing that agenda from play. After following those instructions, the front side of the next card in the agenda deck becomes the active adventure card. Alright. So, the house continues to change before your very eyes. The walls have decayed and the ground in many rooms has turned to dirt. It's almost as if you've been transported somewhere else entirely, though every now and again you recognize elements of your former home. The lead investigator must decide. Either each investigator discards 1 card at random from his or her hand, or the lead investigator takes 2 horror. So I'm actually going to go ahead and take the 2 horror. I feel like we're very close to finishing this off, and he can deal that. He can deal with that. All right, and then we're going to put this off to the side. Put that up there. Let's make a little bit of extra space here for the acts and the agendas. All right, let's read this. The floor beneath you is giving way. You see a vast network of tunnels twisting into the darkness below. Shapes and silhouettes of strange creatures move swiftly through the tunnels, trying to find a way up. You probably don't want to be here when they do. We have a threshold of 7, so it's going to take a while before we get that. We're each going to draw a card. I draw Treachery. Test 3. For each point you fail by, take 1 horror. And now I'm starting to feel like that was a mistake, because I'm not going to get any benefit from clues at my location. There are none left. So what I need 3. Anything that can help here. just the dynamite, which I don't think I'm going to be able to play. I actually am going to go ahead and discard this card for the dynamite. Discard that card for the sanity. So that basically means now I've got 4 and I'm comparing it to 3. And it's a -1. So thankfully there's... Oh, I forgot to put this one back in. Thankfully I succeeded and I don't lose any points. But that was a little bit scary. Wendy is going to go. It's another ghoul minion. Pops up. She's just trying to get out of there. That's all she wants to do. Alright, so I'm going to head to the hallway. And I think what I'm going to do, because I don't think that there's anything else I can do, is draw 2 cards. I've moved. I'm going to draw 2 cards. Hopefully that will help me. I got Guts, which will be helpful if I get another Horror. And then I've got Dodge, which is good for an enemy attack. Wendy, I think she's going to have to attack the ghoul minion. She's got 1, but she can spend ammo right now to fight the minion. She's now got 3 to 1. It's -2, which puts her at -1. Now, I can discard a card, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard emergency resources. Cancel that chaos token, return it to the bag, reveal a new chaos token. I can only do this once per skill test or ability. It's a skull, which is -1 for the number of ghoul enemies at my location, which is 1 in this case. But now my 3 to 2 becomes 2 to 2 and will cause 1 damage. And I think something I did not do correctly before was I think I got rid of the ghoul even though it only caused 1 damage. So I'm going to have to use the Derringer again. It's now got no ammo. I don't get rid of it though. It'll be 3 to 2, -2. I'm once again going to go ahead and get rid of that this time. Zero. This time I was successful. Alright, so the ghoul minion is dead. Attacked it twice. And her last action is simply going to be get back up to the hallway. And now, as that's her last action, we're going to do the enemy phase. There's no enemies out, so we don't have to worry about that. We then complete the round by drawing a new card each. Scavenging and Mind Over Matter. Neither of them got another weakness. We get another resource for each of them. She's got a lot of resources. Now, I could have evaded that enemy, but I felt like it was more important just to have the enemy, the ghoul, killed. We're up here. We get to spend 6 clues collectively to complete this act. The barrier. Using the barrel from the attic, you carry ice and snow from the cellar and hurl it at the barrier. The barrier sparks and shudders if it consumes the ice, then hisses and fades out of existence. The barrier blocking passage into the parlor has vanished. Reveal the parlor. Put the set-aside Lita Chandler into play in the parlor. Spawn the set-aside ghoul priest in the hallway. So Lita is a character that will appear here. The ghoul priest will appear here. We'll just move the cellar and the attic off to the side. There are going to be 0 clues on top of the parlor, which is going to be frustrating. We're going to put this aside, and we're now on Act 3. What have you done? A woman with a torch stands in the parlor, a glimmer of hatred in her eyes. What have you done to my barrier? She screams, furious. Before you can answer, a ghastly wail sounds behind you, and a creature wearing robes and a deer skull mask tears through the wall, advancing towards you. And finally, we have to defeat the ghoul priest. That's not what we need. So So we're not actually in the parlor, so that's something important to remember. We do have a ghoul priest up here to deal with. I'm just going to move these two over here. Parlor down here. And now we go to the Mythos Phase. So the Mythos Phase, we're going to add a token here. And we're going to draw a card from Roland. Roland gets Rotting Remains. Basically, test 3. We're going to use Guts this time. So that's going to give him +2. He's testing 5 to 3. Again, I think this is the third Rotting Remains that he's come by. I mean, even for him, this is a lot to deal with. We get a one of these. And then it's -1, and if we fail, take 1 horror. But fortunately, we did not fail because we had the +2. So that'll go back in. And we can put that aside. Wendy draws a card, and it's going to be a ghoul minion. Holy cow, how many ghoul minions is she going to have to deal with here? Alright, so she's got some issues going on here with ghouls. We're going to have Roland just looking to see if there's something I can use. He's going to draw a card. Emergency cash. I'm going to draw another card. Cover up, weakness, revelation. Put cover up into play in your threat area with 3 clues on it. Whenever you would discover 1 or more clues at your location, discard that many clues from cover up instead. So, fortunately, and when the game ends, if there are any clues on cover up, you suffer 1 mental trauma. Oh, that's good. That's awesome, because it's going to be really difficult to actually discover clues at this point, since there are no other clues remaining. Except for the ones in the cellar. I'm not going to go down there. I guess I'm going to just use this unlimited resources and emergency cash and just get 3 more resources. All right, so Wendy's going to go. She may as well bring out her baseball bat for 2. I don't know if I can do that if I'm engaged with an opponent. So the first thing I'm going to do is, the second thing I'm going to do is now attack. I get +2 for the attack, so I'm going to have a 3. And this attack deals +1 damage, so I will do 2 damage. Especially got a +1, so that kills the ghoul minion, thankfully. She can now engage if she wants with the ghoul priest. But I think instead she's going to go to the parlor so she can try to parlay on the next turn with Lita. Parlay is a special thing where you try to take control of an investigator or an ally. In this case, Lita. And if I can control Lita, she'll become part of my deck, and then she'll help me attack. She'll help with attacking. But that is everything. Both of these characters have gone. I don't think there's anything else I can do. I played the baseball bat, I attacked with the baseball bat, and then I went to the parlor. So now the enemy attacks. Prey means that it will now engage. Let me just make sure that that is correct. It's going to engage with the highest fight at the location. Oh, prey just means who it's going to follow, not who it's going to automatically engage. So if Roland were here and Wendy were here, he would go towards Roland. All right. So he is going to attack. He's going to engage our good buddy here. And essentially he's going to do 2 each for damage. I'm going to have to give 1 damage to the dog. I may as well give him pretty much all the damage, which sucks. I think I have to take 1 damage. Anyway, but I'm going to give him 2 and 2. However, when an enemy attack deals damage to the guard dog, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. So we are dealing 1 damage back to the Ghoul Priest. So he's now got 4. But Roland is not in a good way. By any stretch. We're now at the end of the round. We'll each take a card. Roland's 38 special. Thank God. And Leo DeLuca. And then we'll take 1 more resource. All right, we're going to add a Doom token to the Mythos. This thing, Roland's card is Obscuring Fog, attached to your location. Limit 1 per location. Attached location gets +2 Shroud. Forced after attached location is successfully investigated, discard Obscuring Fog. So we don't need to worry about that too much, fortunately. Icy Ghoul, spawn in the cellar. So, and that is going to be worth a victory point at the end of the game. And it's going to stay there. Like, it has no hunting, has no prey, so it's not going to move, I don't believe. It's not hunting anybody, so unless I actually go down to the cellar, I'm not going to worry about it. Roland's going to go ahead and play his special. That's going to cost 3 resources, and it's going to use 4 ammo. So we'll just put those 3 there and then add 1 here. And unfortunately, there's no clues on the location, which would be a great way to do this. Unfortunately, I can't evade. I could try to evade, but it would be difficult. He's got a 4, I've got a 2, so I'm not really going to evade that well. So I will get +1 to the attack, though. That's going to give me that's going to give me 5 to his 4. I need to remember that I have this dodge thing that's going to allow me to... And I'm going to place Vicious Blow, which is going to give me +1 on the attack. Plus it's giving me an extra fist. So right now it's 6 fists to their 4. And if I'm successful, I will do 3 damage to him. And that will kill it. So, yay. I get a skull. Now the skull is -X is the number of ghoul enemies at your location. Well, at my location I have 1 ghoul enemy. That is going to be the Ghoul Priest. And so the Ghoul Priest, that is still enough to beat the Ghoul Priest. So we do 3 damage, and that kills the Ghoul Beast, the Ghoul Priest. It does retaliate, which I'm not sure if that's enough to actually do. I should probably check if retaliate still kicks in with the monster having died. A bit anticlimactic, I know. Oh, okay. So yeah, the retaliate is just if you fail your skill test against that creature, then the creature will attack again, get an additional attack. But in this case, we didn't fail, so we don't have to worry about that. And as far as the monster goes, the Ghoul Priest is now dead, and Roland's going to get 2 victory points for that. And I don't know if I complete the rest of my turn. I rolled once. We can put that away. I could go down and shoot the Icy Ghoul. I think as soon as the way that the act works is that if it is defeated, you then advance. Like, end of story. I don't know if you necessarily complete the full round. That would be good to know. find it difficult to find anything. Yeah, apparently this is going to be advance the objective deck. When the road creature falls, the fiendish swarm burrows back into the ground, and the chaos of the house quiets. But the stranger in your parlor doesn't seem relieved. You broke my soul, where that was set to trap the ghouls within. You broke my seal. Sorry, not soul. You broke my seal. The lead investigator must decide. Choose one. It was never much of a home. Burn it down. This hell pit is my home. No way are we burning it down. So R1, R2. So once you get to an R1, R2 decision, you are basically you're at the end of the game. You get to read whatever text it is. Still can't believe Cover Up came out so late, because that is going to be mental trauma now. We are going to, let's see, I think we need this one. So I've played through the scenario before, as you can see. We've got unspent. I've got the same two investigators here, and I've marked off some trauma, as well as some stuff coming up that I'm not going to worry about. And the last time I played this game, my house was burned to the ground. So this time around, I think I'm going to say that this hell pit is my home, especially now that I think I'm playing this now so much later. I am now at a point where I'm a homeowner, whereas before I was not. So that makes a bit of a difference. So resolution 2 is what we're going to read. You refuse to follow the overzealous woman's order and kick her out of the home, but for fear that she will set it ablaze without your permission. Fools, you are making a grave mistake, she warns. You do not understand the threat that lurks below, the grave danger we are all in. Still shaken by the night's event, you decide to hear the woman out. Perhaps she can shed some light on these bizarre events, but she doesn't seem to trust you very much. If you're in your campaign log, record that your house is still standing. So you can, I would suggest make a photocopy of this before you write on it. The lead investigator earns 1 experience as he or she refuses to let the night's event destroys his or her house. So Roland's going to get 1 experience. Each investigator earns experience based equal to the victory X value of each card in the victory display. Remember to add eligible locations to the victory display. Each investigator earns 2 bonus experiences. He or she gains insight into the hidden world of the mythos. All right, so over the course of the game, I don't think we had any locations that had victory points. The study did not. Just double check that. Yeah, the study did not. The hallway did not. The cellar did. The cellar had 1 victory point. And the attic did. And since we completed the attic, I think we actually get the victory points for that, but not the cellar. Had we had more time, I could have had him go down, kill that guy, get some clues there, get a little bit less trauma, and get some more points. But for now, it's just going to be the 1 victory point for the addict and the 2 victory points for the Ghoul Priest. That is going to be 3 victory points total for the team. In addition, we got 2 bonus experience. So Wendy's getting 5, and Roland is getting 6. Now, at the end of the game, because this still had clues on it, I suffer 1 mental trauma. So as a result, Roland here will suffer 1 mental trauma. And I'm just going to make a little note here. I'm going to try to do this in a different color, maybe. I'll do this in green. Obviously not learning anything from my lesson. We're going to do 1 dot here to indicate that mental trauma. Wendy, on the other hand, doesn't have anything to worry about, so she's just simply going to wrap everything up here. She also now gets experience, and I will go over experience in the next video. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.